Our next story, Matt Walsh reveals how his children's book was banned as a targeted harassment campaign by the left. According to Fandom Pulse, over the weekend, Matt Walsh talked about how his book has actually been banned from several left outlets. He wrote a children's book, Johnny is a Walrus, something like that, and it was targeting the whole the trans movement and how you can't just say you're a walrus and that makes you a walrus. Um, and he was just pointing out that conservatives in the book market are being banned, even though leftists are always saying, "Oh, we're always being banned because of the trying to pull pornography out of the libraries or out of school libraries or whatever." Um, and so,
It is
what are your thoughts?
funny that you'll walk into a Barnes and Noble and they'll have a banned books table
Yeah,
where supposedly banned books are for sale. What you don't see are all of the conservative books that aren't in the Barnes and Noble at
because
all
they were banned.
because they were banned. Now, I will say there's been a lot of drama over our libraries. You don't have a constitutional right to have the government buy your book and make it available for free
Huh?
in the libraries. But I do think that it's a more credible complaint when you have corporations that purport to sell all books, specifically targeting your book. And Amazon and Barnes & Noble have specifically been targeting conservative books on this topic. When Harry Became Sally was banned on Amazon for like 5 years, and it only got unbanned when somebody from the Trump administration contacted Jeff Bezos directly, being like, "Why is this book not for sale?" And then, like a few days later, suddenly it's back after being
wow.
gone for 5 years.
Oh, what you talking about? It's there.
So,
Didn't do very well.
we
Zero
don't.
reviews.
I will say, we're throwing around this term "book ban" a lot. None of this is government initiated on the left or the right.
Right.
But when you have the government giving money to corporations and making them monopolies or giving them monopoly-like powers, those corporations end up acting as miniature governments, right? Amazon doesn't pay taxes. In many cases, it gets taxes, right? When Amazon was moving into a new place, that state is paying them tax revenue and giving them tax breaks, right? That gives you a sense of where the relationship is. So we have this view of like, oh, well, the government is more powerful than corporations. It's like, is it really? Because this has been the big. It's the end of the show, so I'm going to get a little bit political. It's been the big kind of discovery of like, oh, when Trump is threatening tariffs, he's not really trying to negotiate with the leaders of those countries. He's negotiating with the corporations that are really the power behind the throne in those countries. Because the president of Venezuela doesn't care about tariffs, but let's pick a better example of India doesn't care about tariffs, but his companies do, or South Korea.
Yeah.
Right, Samsung cares about tariffs a lot. Prime Minister of South Korea, it doesn't really impact me directly.
When you have to cross an ocean to get your stuff to people.
But the president of Samsung cares a lot about that because it really hits his profits. And so, understanding that these corporations are really powerful and they're using that power to silence certain voices is something that we need to talk about. I have an unaired episode that goes into this in great detail. May or may not ever air it. But it is something that I'm watching very closely. And it is important to have mechanisms for buying and selling that are outside of Amazon, because Amazon does have a known history, in Barnes & Noble too, of going after conservative voices. So if you vote to the right, just realize there's always a chance that you'll get banned, particularly if we have a Democrat in the White House.
And that just follows trends no matter where you're at. I'm sure Matt Walsh is doing fine on book sales. In fact, the ban is probably helping him somewhat with his core audience. And that's just, if that happens to you, reposition, re-angle, take advantage. It's not the end of the world.